evangelicals compose less than 7%, all evangelical denominations combined.
The most unreached people group in North America, 0.6% of people in the province of Quebec are born-again Christian.
Really the main reason why we moved to Montreal is just because of how unreached it is.
I can't think of any place more exciting and more necessary to plant churches than Canada. About 35 million people in Canada and about 150 Southern Baptist churches. In Eastern Canada, Toronto through Quebec City, about 15 million people. About half the population is about 50 Southern Baptist churches. In all of North America, I can't think of any place with a greater opportunity to plant churches than Canada.
I think most people, when they come to Toronto, are impressed. They're impressed with the enormity of the city, but they're also impressed that they'll go and they'll see subdivision after subdivision after subdivision of very fancy, affluent homes and no churches at all. In many ways, it looks like back home. It looks like many places in the States. The stores are there, the highways look the same, the cars look the same, the people look the same. But the one key difference is that there's no churches.
Ottawa represents a key city. It's the capital city of Canada. It's the most bilingual city of Canada. Back in '98, God called my wife and I, Donna and I, to move from British Columbia, from Vancouver, to come to Ottawa and plant a church. Our vision was so that God was going to bring a hub church, that we would be a church planting church.
Our family moved here in April 2001. It was still snowing when we moved here. To be true, Montreal in snowy weather. We built up relationships with nearly 400 families here in the community that we're relating to. Renaissance Church, we are about really trying to build relationships with people who don't know Christ. The church is the hope of the world. When we started thinking about that and praying about that, we were like, God, do you want to use us to start a church, and a church that would start churches? And so we thought God could use us here to do that. And so that's why we came.
This is Impact Church. It's a student-led church right here in Montreal. It's just about a year old. Tonight, nearly 80 college students showed up here to have church. It's primarily English, but we also have a French version of Impact. Our dream is to have student churches like this all across Canada.
Leaving everything behind to be a missionary.
Southern Baptist Convention, just barely 20 years old. You have 150 churches, but God has given them the vision to have 1,000 churches in Canada in the next 20 years. Now, if God's given Canadian Southern Baptist the vision to plant 1,000 churches, God's got to be calling church planters.
Leaving everything behind to be a missionary.
One of my heart's desires is to see a small group pop up in every neighborhood in the province of Quebec.
I've been going out to Boucherville, building relationships with the skateboarders.
Pour ça, un cadre d'église, j'ai commencé à Saint-Jean. I have 2 Bible studies going in my home.
God just really put upon my heart Montreal and the people here. These are just a few of the church planters God is calling from Canada and to Canada.